Hey guys, Adam Winch here with Defenders USA. I've got a real treat for you today. I want to introduce you to Joel. He's an expert in a certain area you're going to hear about, but this is a passion of mine because of injuries that I've personally been through that he has fixed. Okay, so I want to introduce you to Joel here. He's with Santan Physical Therapy. He's going to tell you more about his background and his expertise. But understand, I've been dealing with injury for about the last 5 years. It's a shooting injury, somewhat military related, but also a shooting injury that was exacerbated over time as I get further and further into the shooting world, and especially as I go into a lot of competitions and a ton of dry fire. So he's going to talk to us about how to mitigate those things, or really to prevent that through proper warm-up and all that. And I'm just so excited to bring this to you because this is a needed conversation in our community. Joel, do you mind telling us about yourself?
Thank you. Been a physical therapist for 23 years. I came from a background of athletics, more recently into some triathlons. So I've seen a lot of injury through my athletic career, myself and my teammates, but what you're doing is an athletic event.
Oh, very, very much an athletic endeavor. So, and I've watched here, right? We're in his clinic here, and I've watched as just, it seems like you have a lot of athletes who come to here, right? You have everybody from Grandma Good Cookies to really these yoked up athletes that I can tell they're coming in because of injuries due to their sport. Well, our sport is shooting, and I think that injury prevention for this is just as important as any other sport.
Absolutely. And your sport is a repetitive injury type of sport.
It's this all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So what can we do to prevent injuries for us as we continue through our pathway of becoming better shooters?
Well, the first thing you need to do is a warm-up. We have to get the muscles, we have to get the blood moving through the muscles. They have to be engaged. You want them ready to perform the activity you're trying to do.
Well, and the main injury that I came up with is I grabbed a whole ammo can, right? So there's 2,500 rounds in there. I grabbed it at an awkward angle, and I yanked it out of the back of a truck, and something snapped, and it was an old injury that was from the military, but that just made it worse. So there was no warm-up. I mean, I literally just grabbed it and took off running, and next thing you know, I was hurt. So I can see this.
Yeah.
Okay, so what can we actually physically do?
So the first thing, let's talk about a warm-up. Warm-up doesn't take very long. We're trying to get the blood moving through those tissues. We've got to get them ready to contract those muscles. We want them ready to pull as much as they need to pull for your activity.
So when you say the muscles, to me, I look at the shooting sports as a complete body exercise, really a core exercise that the peak or the final of it is the extension of the handgun or maybe the rifle. That's kind of the peak of it, but that's truly a core exercise. Would you agree?
Yes. I think too often we look at this being the focus, that we only need to warm up our grip and maybe a little bit of our shoulders. But the whole activity stems from your core. Okay. If your core isn't working, it's a fence post that's loose in the ground. And so you're not going to be able to hold steady that position that you're trying to create over and over again without having that body ready to hold you steady.
Well, and from the aspect of defensiveness, right, for those of us who maybe don't have great strength, or maybe we're getting a bit more infirm with age, or somebody like me who's messed up. To me, I found that just focusing on the grip was really the wrong message to the entire body. So really, you're saying through good posture, good stance, but having a good warmed up body can actually mitigate for that type, not having that huge grip strength.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you mind, maybe we step back slightly, could you show us kind of some things that we can do to warm up before we even go into our dry fire sessions?
Sure. Most of us have some pretty busy lives.
Yes.
It's hard to take all the time we need to do the things properly as an athlete. I find that as a business owner. You find that as a business owner, right?
The phone never stops.
Yeah, right. So,
which is a good thing.
Just a couple minutes before you get up and do your dry fire activities, your drills, can play a big role in preventing these injuries. And as you know, once you get these injuries, it can take months or weeks to get these under control. Yeah. And so we don't want to go down that road.
Okay,
so injuries.
So you were saying maybe we'll just do, say, 3 different core things that we all can do. Okay, so what can we do?
So the first thing I would do is just do some squats. and we're just talking up and down.
Okay. So really just to
15
warm
20
up the
reps.
body.
We're getting your legs, you're getting your back moving, getting those muscles contracting, you're ready to hold your stance. You're also getting the blood pumping throughout the entire body.
So this is a soapbox for me. Can you talk about the squat a little bit, right? What's the problem with squatting here in America?
We don't do enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't. And in America, we sit in our chairs, we sit in our cars, we sit on the sofa.
We sit on the toilet.
Yeah, we sit on the toilet. We don't get all the way with sitting on the toilet. Yeah, in third world countries, they're not sitting on the toilet.
No,
they're squatting all the way down.
No, I grew up in West Africa, right? And over there, very few people, as they grew elderly, ever had to have knee replacements, hip replacements. Why? Because they squatted, oftentimes for the bathroom, but everything else, and they knew how to squat, right? You go to Afghanistan, you go to Iraq, and those people know how to squat, right? And because of that, they have so fewer injuries. And I think that if you learn how to squat well, what did you say earlier? Squatting to a toilet, aiming for a target?
That's right.
If you can learn to squat well, I like to say squat like a toddler, right? If you can find a toddler and mimic a toddler,
you're the best.
You're not going to have to deal with all the knee and hip issues later on in life if you learn to squat. So if you're going to take this advice, which I strongly recommend for warming up, learn to squat. We'll do another video later, or you can find them on YouTube somewhere.
That's right. Okay. Great. So squatting, 15 to 20 reps.
Okay.
That'll get the blood pumping a little bit. It doesn't take long. If you have knee problems, don't go past or try and push through that knee pain. Just go to what you can do. Let's get those muscles moving.
So I think this is a salient point, not just in squats, but everything else. If you have already injuries there or infirmities that doesn't allow you to do this, listen to your body. Don't let the pain happen, right? Go to what you can do, and then maybe come to somebody like him to figure out how to mitigate the pain. Would that be a good?
Yes.
If
this is something that maybe you're just sore, you did a little too much over the weekend, and that's fine. That stuff tends to go away.
Well, warm up.
Well, warm up.
Yeah.
But most of us that are athletes, one way or the other, we're a little stubborn. We think we can push through all that stuff, right? He's Mr. Guilty here.
I'm sorry.
And I am too.
Yeah.
And I even know better.
Yeah.
But if this is something that's lasting for a little while, a couple weeks, I can fix that a lot quicker if you get into me sooner, and we'll get you back where you need to be. So
he said something here that's important, if I can just throw this in. I went for 5 or so years dealing with just pain every day. Literally, I've gotten to the point where I didn't know what it was like to not live with pain.
Yeah.
In the last couple months, they started localizing that pain and then really reducing it by working on so much that's back in here. And in the last 2 to 3 weeks, I mean, he and his team, I think they're witch doctors, because I have literally gone almost exclusively without pain. And I would say in the last 2 to 3 weeks, maybe having 10% of the pain that I've normally had, and it's a rarity. And I didn't know what it was like. I mean, I was giddy almost to the point of tears, because for the first time in years, I was living without pain. But I made the stubborn mistake of thinking, I don't need it. So I didn't go off to these people because I was a big, tough, strong boy, at least I thought I was, and I lived with pain instead.